teammates. Welcome to the Live Well podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jen Collins.
And I'm Seth Christopher. Welcome to the Well.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Seth. How is it going today? It's another podcast day.
Hey, Jen. Going great. I love podcast days.
So great. We talked about the weather last time and it was September, but not cool. And guess what? Now it's September and cool.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time revisiting our previous conversations, but 9/22, I believe this is the actual official first day of fall. So game on for all of you pumpkin lovers and all those that like to decorate with the fall gear.
Nice. It is officially pumpkin spice and we can wear sweatshirts and boots. So score. Love it.
Score.
How's it going with the virtual learning? We're in for a little while.
It's going good. I know it's a little bit different for you all down in South Carolina, but for us here in Charlotte Mech, there's some transitions that are coming about, but still dealing with the nuances of technology on a day-to-day.
Very good. Yeah, we're doing every other day. I think we've talked about that, but every other day. So the kids are going to class on, a couple of days a week and then home virtual learning the rest, but it looks different from you guys. So, but still have the screen time, the what to do with them during the day. So, interesting times.
Interesting times indeed. And maybe we should spend a little bit of time today talking about screen time, kids, parents. We know you're stressed out. We're stressed out too. We're all in this together. So maybe let's spend some time, shifting gears a little bit on our Live Well topics, and let's talk about physical activity and back to school stress management.
That is a great idea.
All right. How about we kick it off with some fast facts?
We have to.
All right. Fast fact. In a recent Care.com survey, 73% of parents indicated they may have to make major changes at work if school and daycares did not fully open. 21% of those respondents said they'd be looking for a different job, and 15% indicated they may actually leave the workforce entirely. Fast fact. On average, children ages 8 to 12 in the U.S. spend about 5 hours a day watching or using the screens, and teens can spend up to 9 hours. In fact, the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends for children ages 6 and older just to place consistent limits on the time spent using media and the actual types of media. And of course, make sure that the media does not take the place of adequate sleep, physical activity, and other behaviors that are essential to health. So again, not making it priority number one in your life. Fast fact. Children and youth aged 5 to 17 should accumulate at least 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous intensity physical activity daily, per the CDC recommendations. Fast fact. In a recent study, children who performed 2 20-minute bouts of moderate intensity physical activity had significantly better selective attention than those who did not.
Those are some great facts. I have some comments. So I can absolutely attest to the teens spending 9 hours on the screen. So it's a daily thing in our house, talking about balancing between screens for homework, phones, PlayStations. So it's definitely a struggle. But I love what you said about the 2 20-minute bouts of physical activity, which leads to better selective attention. That's a pretty powerful fact there.
Yeah, there's some fun science behind it. I think BDNF is one of the factors that was identified pretty early on in some of the research for children and being physically active. And, long story short, there's just a lot of support that, physical activity, I think typically the research shows it in the morning, but just in general for kids, can help make them a little bit more productive with their work, especially when it comes to schoolwork. And so being able to retain that information, but also to be a little bit more productive. Obviously, there's some best case, worst case scenarios along that spectrum. But in general, finding ways to engage your children with physical activity, seems to be, a potential solution for, the current climate that we're living in and this virtual learning, if you will.
Well, it occurs to me too that we're kind of going back to somewhat of an old school idea that fitness is fun. So fitness isn't work. So incorporating back physical activity as, kind of daily life, making it fun, getting people involved. This could be pretty exciting time as far as increasing overall physical activity for children and families.
Yeah, but Jen, what we're here to do with Live Well is to answer the questions teammate have. How do I do that? Not just why, but how do I go about doing it? So I think we're going to have some great conversations with our guest speaker a little bit later that will help to give us some great tips on how to take that body of information, find ways to apply it in your households.
We do have a special guest today, which is, I think, going to, like you said, connect a lot of the dots for us, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Are you ready to do some Mythbusters?
Jen, are you about to break some myths?
I am. I want to make our Mythbusters are going to be a little different, so bear with me. I'm going to talk a little bit about parents and burnout first and talk about some symptoms, and then I'll go into the myths. Is that okay?
Yes, tell us how we feel.
Okay, so symptoms of burnout. So we're gonna the top two myths, or the first two myths I'm gonna do are gonna deal with moms and dads and kind of some myths of stress and kind of where we are. So symptoms of burnout: one is physical or emotional fatigue, feeling or being uninterested or indifferent, lack of significance or success in your daily life, and pessimism about where you are in life. So if you're starting to feel any or all of those feelings, you could be suffering from some symptoms of burnout. And we're going to talk about where some resources are that you can get some assistance. If you're not feeling those, but maybe, you can kind of see that on the horizon coming, if you're feeling stressed out, again, we want to connect our teammates with resources before we get all the way down into the burnout. So myth.
Yeah, and just for the parents out there listening, if you're working from home, you're probably, or you're not working from home, you're thinking about your child being burnt out too. Zoom burnout or Zoom fatigue, it goes for us as parents, teammates, all teammates, regardless, children, no children, but for our kids too. So that's a real symptom, something to be aware of. And I'm glad you pointed that out, Jen.
That's a super great point. We have to worry about our children feeling overwhelmed and kind of screen fatigued as well. So let's talk myth number one. The first myth is that moms have to take care of everyone. So if you're a mom out there, if this is resonating to you, if that's kind of how you wake up and feel, let's talk about what the facts are. Moms, here's a message to you. You do not have to take care of everyone all of the time. Moms, sometimes we feel like we should know what our kids and what our partners need, even without them saying anything. If we feel this way, this causes constant stress and pressure to make sure everyone is cared for, and this contributes to burnout because you're kind of burning the candle at both ends. It's important to include children and partners in home chores, especially for those of you with kids and teenagers. Teaching children to do some things for themselves, like picking out their clothes, helping to make their snacks or to make their lunch, cleaning up after themselves, this can all be very helpful and also can help them to lead successful lives as they get older. Even tasks as, helping with the laundry. Maybe, you put it in and you move it around, but they can help put it away or help start learning to fold.
Yeah, giving those in your house the opportunity to grow, again, to each their own with their parenting style. Everyone's got different circumstances they're working with. One of the great things that I read an article recently, Jen, it was in Harvard Business Review, and what they were suggesting is, I think, really relevant to your point about moms helping to manage and deal with the stress and finding ways to go through that process. And what they suggested was building what they termed a board of directors. So, layman's term, build out some social support, some friends and family. And they just talked about different types of people to surround yourself with or to connect with, whether it be other teammates, whether it be people in the community, neighbors. What they were talking about was, finding someone who shares your family's goals. That way you can feel like you're in alignment and understanding kind of where you are on your own journey. Connecting with colleagues who have families, connecting with working parents of children the same age as yours. Because again, I think that goes back to, hey, we're all in this together, but there are some teammates who may be listening to you go on and talk about your kids who are teenagers and feel more connected, and some who may have younger children and feel a bit more connected to my stories. But that's all part of this social support structure we want to build. And then maybe building some stories around, working parents of children who are older than yours or younger. And I think that's great because it gives a lot of perspective. So I looking back and saying, hey, I remember when my child was 4 years old trying to go through this particular circumstances might give you perspective on how you then perceive your current situation with your 10-year-old. So just kind of keep it in perspective. I just wanted to throw that point out there because I think it's a great suggestion that you're making here.
I love that suggestion, especially as a parent who doesn't have family in the area. So building a social network and knowing, kind of being told that it's okay to build a social network that's not family, I think is pretty valuable. Thanks for adding that in. So myth number 2, let's talk about dads. So there's a myth that dads don't get burnout. You're a dad. So let's talk about the facts. Today's dads are both incredibly stressed at work and more involved in parenting than ever, and can suffer from burnout just as much as moms. And the health implications for this can be dire and can be quite important. What's sad is that many dads may feel that they can't talk about their stress openly. And I don't want to lose fact that this is still Men's Health Month. We're in September. So I think it's important to kind of talk about this and call this out. A 2017 survey of working dads found that 72% felt emotionally and physically worn out. Another study found that dads are just as likely as moms to feel depressed. In 2016, researchers found that dad's stress can affect their children's development. And this is pre-COVID, so we're not even talking about the here and now. So point. Experiencing high stress and lack of sleep can increase a man's risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, mental illness. So, they found that men skipping meals, they may eat unhealthy snacks, not take breaks during the day. All of this contributes to the overall feelings of stress, depression, and can lead to burnout.
Yeah, those are some pretty bleak and scary statistics. Can't say that I disagree with the sentiment. I don't know if it's much different than what a mother may feel going through, especially during the times of COVID. But I agree. I think it's important that we keep that in perspective. I got a few recommendations for dads, but also moms that you can pull off of too. So some work recommendations, ways to kind of handle and manage stress. So have walking meetings, whether you're walking around your care center, you're doing a lap around the neighborhood, have a walking meeting. Standing while taking calls, stand-up desk if you've got it. If not, maybe just plug into the cell phone instead of the computer, walk around your room. Take regular 3-minute breaks from the computer screen. Yeah, this is a big one for me, Jen. I try to every hour take at least 5 minutes where I'm completely away from the computer. It doesn't always work like that with meetings and just things that have to be done, but I try to keep that in perspective, and I always found that was a great tip. And then, dads, let's try not to drink coffee past 3 p.m. I know it's not always easy, but let's do our best. Some other home recommendations. So just set some short and long-term priorities, goals, really about what's most important to you on a given day. Is it family? Is it work? Is it a combination thereof? But that'll help to kind of guide your day and relieve some of the stressors. That way, if you're really becoming aligned and focused and intentional about your day, it'll help to provide some perspective on some of those, short-term losses or non-important losses that you may be perceiving as all world encompassing. And then just make the most of your time, whether it's with your kids, with your spouse, husband, families. Dads, do your best to just, stay as connected as you can. And again, that's going to help reestablish some of those priorities. Make sure you're switching off technology at home. Discuss some flex options with the boss, and then talk to your partners. Have some communication. We're in a very strange time right now. Jen, you talked about those statistics. 3 in 4 dads feel stressed. Again, I think having an open channel of communication is a great way to do that. We're going to talk about some resources to connect, but again, just make sure you're having those open and honest conversations when you need to.
Those are great recommendations. I love providing these recommendations for our teammates. All right, here's another one on stress, and then we'll take a different direction. So the last myth for stress is that parents can hide their stress from their kids. So the fact of, in a paper published by the Journal of Family Psychology, they studied interactions between parents and children aged 7 to 11. They found that children had a physical response when parents tried to hide their emotions. It says that they show that the response happens under the skin. So what they would do is kind of interesting. The way they set up the study is half the group would be not stressed or would feel what they would feel, and then the other half would be stressed. But when the kids would come in, they would go, Mommy, Daddy, are you okay? And the parents would say, I'm fine. And immediately they could see a stress response in the child from that response. So they found that parents who do not acknowledge their stress or try to hide it, that they are emotionally unavailable to their children and just may be withdrawn somewhat. So it's, again, it all sort of goes in together. I don't know that we need to, tell our kids exactly what we're thinking and what we're doing, but I do think it's okay to say, mommy's having a feeling, mommy needs a moment, or mommy needs a hug, daddy needs a hug. I think it's okay to acknowledge, because it shows that yes, we are human, yes, we have feelings, and those feelings are okay.
You mean your feelings are fine?
That's right. My feelings are good. So, all right. So let's talk about the myth number 4, our very last one. I love this myth. Strength training will stunt my child's growth. I'm sure you've heard that one. The fact is, no, it will not. Bodyweight exercises such as push-ups, squats, lunges, etc. are all safe for children of most to all ages. Even adding a little weight to the children's hands during these exercises does not cause a negative effect. If you're interested in teaching your children how to do these exercises properly, if you're not a trainer yourself or have any training, definitely get with a certified personal trainer or take them to, there's lots of different classes for kids where they can learn how to do body weight exercises as well as weighted exercises. If you're interested in getting your child involved in heavier weightlifting or Olympic lifting, this is definitely okay. It's not going to affect them. You just want to make sure that they are mature enough, they have enough coordination, balance, and strength. So very important for those types of lifts to get in with a personal trainer and someone who has some experience there. But absolutely okay to get our kids involved in exercise, strength training, and some weightlifting.
A lot of great variety, great ways for kids to stay engaged. Again, strength training will not stunt your child's growth, but you do need to be intentional about who's helping to show them technique, form. So great points there, Jen. Teammates, just things to consider. Speaking of things to consider, Jen, I think talking about physical activity in children, that's a great segue for us to introduce our guest today. What do you think?
I do. We have a guest here, Eric Rogers, and he is going to talk to us about how to incorporate physical activity into this new environment.
All right, just a quick little bit about Eric. So Eric Rogers is an athletic trainer at Atrium Health for our sports medicine department who provides outreach care to South Meck High School. He brings 10 years of experience in the field and is also a licensed performance enhancement specialist. His devotion to medicine, fitness, and health led him to complete a dual major in kinesiology and education from Indiana University. Engaging students to develop an enthusiasm for fitness that will last a lifetime is not only his profession, it's his passion. He joins us today to discuss ways parents can incorporate dynamic physical education while, here's the key, while working from home. Eric, welcome to The Well.
Thank you for having me.
Eric, we're so excited that you are here with us. We've been talking about kind of winning at this virtual learning and then, some stress that comes along with that for the parents and for the kids. So with your great background in physical activity and working with kids, really excited to hear what you have to say. Would like you to take a few minutes, talk about some recommendations for exercise and then some ways that we can incorporate physical activity into this virtual learning environment.
Yeah, so one of the best things, is to get the whole family up and moving, right? Parents are working from home, they're, stuck in the office, kids are on their online learning all the time. So taking a break as a family is a great way to do that. Go out, walk the dog, or just go for a walk around the neighborhood with the whole family. Or, for me, cranking up some music and having a dance party. It doesn't have to be super long, but just kind of breaks up your day, gets you thinking about something completely different.
I got to be honest, guys. I hate to interrupt, Eric. I love that you said dance party. For some strange reason, in the last 2 months, we started incorporating 7:30 before bedtime dance parties with my son. So it feels like we're doing the right things at home. Thank you for giving us some assurances.
Yeah. And lots of parents have those kids that are playing multiple sports. Go out there and, play the sport with them, throw the ball back and forth, play a game of hoops, get out your beach equipment, get out that paddle ball, and just, get a little bit of movement going on.
That's great. About how much should we shoot for with our kids as far as activity every day?
Yeah, so the CDC recommends that kids are getting 60 minutes a day, or at least 3 days a week. So you can break that 60 minutes into, a 10-minute session here, 30 minutes later, 20 minutes, at the end of the day. So it doesn't have to be all done at once. So, however that works out for your family and that life schedule that you have, everyone's is going to be a little different.
Yeah, and Eric, you're a teammate. We've got teammates who have just unreal schedules, whether it's 312s, 410s, working 510, sometimes 60, 70 hours a week, plus balancing the stressors of, how do I keep my kid active and productive when they're sitting in front of a computer all day? And what I'm hearing is finding ways to engage them and do things together is a great way to start.
Yeah, I mean, the whole family needs to move. So, when you see that 1 in 3 kids don't get enough exercise, your teenagers, it's a little bit less than that even. And now you're looking at kids and parents that are probably doing, 7+ hours of screen time just from work and school. So everyone needs a break from the screens. Everyone needs to get up and start moving. So just doing something that gets the whole family moving, and maybe even incorporating some of those academics for the kids.
Eric, we're talking about the prescription. Jen teed you up to tell us about how many minutes we should be doing, how many days a week. We talk about it ad nauseum here at the Well and across the fitness world, but also in the diet world. We got to have a prescription for something, right? We got to set the bar for what we expect to do, so that we can make sure we're at least trying and taking on the possibility of meeting those requirements. What are some good ways that parents can engage their kids, outside, inside? It's a good time of year to really get to that prescription for exercise.
Like I said earlier, taking a walk, is a great, easy thing. Everyone can get outside and walk. But with that, have your kid teach you something. So whatever they're working on in school, have them describe it, have them teach it to you. We in medicine, we see one, do one, teach one, and that's that way to really lock in learning. And so for those kids, have them teach you, how photosynthesis works, or whatever subject they're learning, have them walk and teach you about it.
So how could we, that's great. I like that, the see one, do one, teach one. What about incorporating some additional physical activity with the actual virtual learning? So kids, I'm not even sure how they're doing physical PE right now with their virtual learning. So, is there a way to incorporate both of that?
Yeah, so I think, kids are going through all this stuff, and I grew up making flashcards and getting quizzed before bedtime, doing my times tables. So, have the kids, get their spelling list, have them make up some flashcards, of math problems, and, incorporate those into some activity. Like one of the best ways I think you can do that is a scavenger hunt. So give them a clue where to find the first problem. They go to that one, they answer it, they get the the hint to the next one. So maybe that takes them from it's where the food is, and so the clues in the refrigerator, and they go from the refrigerator to the garage, and then maybe to upstairs. But that way you can engage with the material that they're learning in school, but get them going up and down the stairs, running to different spots, maybe some high low, so they got to crawl and squat and get those muscles moving.
I love how you pointed out kind of integrating the child's material or the young adult's learning material into the activity. One of the fun things I used to do as a kid, I don't know about you guys, but have you ever heard of pig or horse?
I think we've all played pig or horse.
Right. Hold on a second. What is pig? I've never heard of pig. I've heard of horse, but I don't know what pig is.
Pig is just the shorter version of it. So, when I was a kid, I would play against an older cousin, and I would play pig, and he would play hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus.
Yeah, so someone had to spell a lot more letters than the other one, but as I got older and a little bit better, then he switched it up on me, and so I had to spell hippopotamus before he was out. So great way to incorporate those spelling words, that those kids are learning.
Yeah, I wonder if we could slide in like onomatopoeia, or what's the supercalifragilistic message?
If you could spell it or say it.
Hey, look, I imagine we could keep our kids outdoors for a very long time if we were doing that. That's a great suggestion.
That is.
Good reminder for some of the parents on how to spell some of those words too.
Point taken, Eric.
Okay, Eric, we're on two different spectrums. Seth has elementary school kids. I have teenage kids, and my kids are actually, high school athletes. So a lot of feedback that I get is, I'm active all the time. I go to practice, most days a week. They do like every other day right now. So, trying to get them to be a little active off of that schedule. Sometimes I get a little bit of feedback. Any suggestions for some older kids? I could definitely try the supercalifragilistic, and I might have to stick with the pig, but any other ideas? Because they're also on the screens. We go to school, but they're on screens every other day, and then trying to keep them engaged in their activity.
Yeah. So you have those kids that are in practice. And you look, and they're not always really practicing. They're standing, listening to instruction, maybe waiting for their turn. So even days that they're practicing, they may not be actually being as active as they think they are. So a way to get the parents involved and the kids involved is maybe doing a workout together, getting a quick like Tabata, doing a little bit of strength, cardiovascular, working on some core work, which the kids may or may not be doing with their sports, because we want our young adults to be doing at least 2 days a week of strength training along with their exercise prescription. So that's a great way to kind of make sure that we get those along with just moving around and playing their sport.
Those are some really great suggestions. Jen, I think that you could probably implement that with your young adults. I think I could find some really great tips for my young children, especially my son on the computer. So thank you.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. I'm excited. I can't wait to tell them that we're going to start doing core work on their off days of school.
Have them try and hold a plank while reading or something.
Ooh,
Oh, I like that one.
I think we just got a new Live Well challenge, Jen.
Yes, I agree. Oh, I totally can see that with a plank challenge with kids doing schoolwork. I love it.
While playing hippo.
Yes, while playing hippo. That's awesome. All right, Eric, you have provided us so much great information. You're going to be, I'm excited. I want you to take a minute now to talk about, you're going to be adding some videos to our fitness streams channel. We've been doing the Toned Up Tuesdays, and we're going to branch those out to include teammates doing some videos. And you've agreed to help with building out that fitness library for parents with kids to do some of this activity that we've been talking about. Can you take a minute and just talk about what videos we're going to be airing? Those will start in October, but kind of tell us what's coming.
Sure. So I have 3 activities that are coming up. Some that are a little bit more aimed at the young children, some that are aimed towards that middle-aged child, and then some that the whole family can do. So the first one is called Build-A-Bear. This is a relay game that is just basically working on moving, right? So gallop, skip, walking. So the kids grab a piece of the teddy bear, cut out, and they do the movement across the court and then build the bear in their little building zone. So a great way to get them doing different movements. And you can make that harder, and maybe doing a skeleton for the older kids where they have to know the actual name of like the rib cage, the femur, the humerus. The next game is something the whole family can do. Something I really like. It's called Yoga Bingo, and so we'll provide the slide or the cards for the team to play, and you call out a pose. And then this is one that you can kind of work on that little bit of meditation, kind of working on your breathing and relaxing. So maybe for 15 seconds or 30 seconds for each pose, playing bingo, but also doing some yoga movement. So you're still getting some movement in there. And then the last one is a basketball game called Fitness Basketball. And this one you can do with, either at the court in your backyard, you can do it at the school or at the local playground, and you work on different spots, have different values and different movements. So maybe up close, it's something easy like jumping jacks. A little bit further, it's squats, from 3 points, maybe a burpee, right? So it gets a little bit tougher. And this is one I really like because as you get older, you can work in things like your math percentages. So have the kids calculate their average. So a bunch of different ways to get the whole family moving, but also incorporating your academics at the same time.
I totally can see some fun play on the Build-A-Bear idea with the holidays coming up. So build a skeleton, build a witch, build a turkey, build Santa.
You got one for every holiday.
We can just keep it going.
Yeah, just make sure we're not sacrificing your young child's bear, right? But then you should get like
Yeah, don't do that.
Okay, ways to be creative. Just thinking out loud here, y'all.
Well, he's a printout, so that could be a lot of fun. This has been so great, Eric. Thank you so much for being a guest on The Well today. We really look forward to those videos. Those will be airing in the month of October. If there people have other questions about how to build up fitness, we'll put some additional resources out on our show notes. So thank you so much. This has been fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
Seth, that was such a great interview. How much fun was he?
Lots of fun tips. I'm looking forward to potentially launching a Live Well Hippo Plank Basketball Challenge sometime probably the first of next year.
I love that. So the interesting question is, hippo, so do we have to plank and figure out how to spell hippopotamus, or is it going to be a plank/basketball?
Jen, at this point, the rules don't really matter. Let's just put it out in the sky and let it float around. I don't have a lot of direction around it at this point.
I love it. Q1, be looking for our Hippo Plank Challenge, perhaps. I'm excited about this partnership with Eric and what he can bring to our teammates regarding getting their kids active.
Yeah, I love that he described a couple of great tips. We're going to provide the resources to Build-A-Bear and some of the other fun things that he's talked about in our links, and then of course we'll post out. But Jen, I'm thinking about the information we're provided, and we kind of tailored today's show around physical activity. We do know that there are teammates that want to do something, about screen time, being active, but they're just struggling. They're struggling to find time, structure to get themselves and their kids active. And I just want to provide a quick tip from the American Academy of Pediatrics. When it comes to screen time, just designate media-free time, such as dinner. Set media-free locations at home, such as bedrooms. Have a consistent and constant communication about online safety and treating others with respect. So some basic etiquette around being online, but the silver lining here, parents and teammates, is there's evidence that children connect emotionally with their friends through devices. Times are a little bit different than when we, a lot of us were growing up, and this is the way that society connects. So there are some benefits. Jen, I'm thinking back to the 9 hours a day for teens, and I'm thinking, that research was pre-COVID. Thinking about redesignating those 9 hours that the kids are getting and the teenagers are getting now to being school time, I think that's actually a positive. It's just for parents trying to figure out how to manage the time after that. It's a real challenge. Hopefully they've gotten some tips from us and gotten some tips from Eric today that they can start to implement and maybe even have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, and that's great advice from even with my teens' perspective. The fact that I see that they do connect emotionally. During COVID and when everybody was isolated, they needed something, and I was thankful that they had things like FaceTime and Snapchat of all things, and just to be able to connect and not feel quite so alone. But it is important, the key we talk about in our house is balance, right? So being able to balance activity with that screen time. In light of that too, talking about some of the stress related stuff going on, I wanted to make sure that we provided some resources that Atrium has put together for our teammates. So Atrium Health Resources, check out the Return to School website on our People Connect page. And we're going to drop the link in our show notes. The EAP is offering parent support group. There's a variety of support group offerings from September 9th to November 2nd. So I think we posted them last time. If not, I'll definitely post them when this show so that those will be in there. Also check out, there's new childcare apps and community resources on that People Connect page. So Atrium's really doing a lot to support teammates during this time.
Amazing, amazing stuff. All right. Speaking of amazing, Jen, what's happening in Live Well?
I'm so glad you asked. So lots of things happening, some different stuff than what we've talked about. So call for champions. So we're looking for some additional champions to add to our already robust and fabulous champion network. If you are interested in becoming a Live Well champion, if you have any type of passion for health and wellness, nutrition, fitness, meditation, we're looking for you. You can check out our new champions link on our Live Well webpage, and from there you can sign up, you can become part of the network.
Teammates, are you a certified fitness instructor? Want to show your skills and teach other teammates how to get fit? Connect with us on the Live Well Yammer page, share your fitness story, and help lead a fitness Live Well video on our next Toned Up Tuesdays.
ClassPass is up and running. We've been talking about this for a while. We launched on September 14th, so it's up. You can go find the link to ClassPass on our fitness page. We have 2 happy hours that will be posted. One of the recordings will be posted. So if you have questions on how to register or what it looks like, please feel free to check out our fitness page and look at one of those recordings.
Teammates, take part in the newest Live Well challenge through the Total Health portal. So this is hashtag HowToH2O challenge. This is going to take place from October 5th to November 6th. Our goals for you and for everyone: drink more water and make a beverage choice that is good for the body and the environment. Track the eligible activities to be entered via the Total Health portal and potentially be entered to win an Atrium Health prize.
Along with challenges, our fall healthy lifestyle challenge has started. It started on Monday. There's definitely still time to join. So check out the Total Health page. And, there's lots of activities you're probably already doing that can help lead to a healthy lifestyle. Go in and log those. And if you can reach the total 300 points by the end of the 6 weeks, you'll be entered for a prize.
Awesome. Lots happening in Live Well. Okay, lots happening today. Jen, what did we learn today?
We learned so much stuff. So the first thing is that kids should get at least 60 minutes of muscle and bone strengthening activities daily. And, can be fun. One of the things that Eric said was to incorporate kids' spelling words or schoolwork into the physical activity. I just loved that. Mm-hmm. Another thing we learned, that it's important for parents to acknowledge and manage their stress and to do family activities to manage family stress. And then thirdly, to incorporate those virtual learning lessons into physical activity. That can be a fun way to get kids moving and keep them learning.
Awesome. As always, Jen, way to put it together on the fly. Okay, teammates, quick call for a story. Want to share how you live well? Have your story shared on our next podcast by posting on Live Well's Yammer page using the hashtag #ILiveWell. Again, that's hashtag #ILiveWell. Tell us how you're living.
Our next podcast topic, we will be in October. So we're going to be talking about breast cancer awareness. We have open enrollment coming up. There's so many different activities and things to talk about in October. Our next one will be airing on Thursday, October 8th. So make sure you tune in for that.
And don't forget to visit the Live Well website for more info on managing stress, overall fitness, working with a Live Well health coach, and additional info on dietitian services and anything incentive related.
Our resources are listed at the end of the show, and we'll add links to the programs discussed today in the comments on our Streams channel.
Looking for more things Live Well? Not following our Streams channel yet? Search The Well on Streams in Office 365 or find us on the Live Well website to access all our content.
Thanks for listening to The Well today.
Stay safe
and live well.